Hi, welcome back. It's been a while.
It's series number 2.
Yay! I also feel like I haven't seen you in
I
forever.
know. It's been a while.
As I start opening up the bottle of wine,
Yeah. So what do you got?
I got a L'Ecole. It's Columbia Valley Merlot,
Great. 2020.
2020.
Terrible year. Great year for wine.
Yep. I remember going into 2020, my bank always does like a big symposium in fall.
Okay.
And it was 2020 vision.
Mm.
And I feel like it's still inaccurate because I feel like our vision on life and everything.
To like refocus.
Yes. And I think there's a lot of good that came, but we're not going to go into all of that.
No.
I just got this from Fred Meyer.
Love it.
It was like $25.
Perfect.
So perfect priced. I've heard a lot of good things about L'Ecole.
Is that a 100% Merlot?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Nice.
It has no breakdown, so I'm going to go with it.
Sure.
So,
you get that going. I'm not going to open it because I'm going to embarrass myself. Because I open it weird. So everyone looks at me cross-eyed when I open bottles of wine. It's fine.
I don't want you to open it now.
Yeah, because you're like, what is she going to do?
Yeah.
I'll do it next time for you guys.
Great.
What'd you do this past weekend?
I was over east at my mother-in-law's.
Nice.
It was our
Cabin.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not her cabin anymore, but
What do you mean?
she moved over there.
Oh, right.
We still call it the
Primary
cabin now.
residence.
Yes.
Okay.
There were some of our neighbors that we become good friends with. It was her birthday.
Nice.
So we did some stuff with them, got some stuff picked up around, went down to the winery.
Yeah. How's Plain Cellars doing?
Good.
Yeah.
I got on the wait list.
How did you get on the wait list?
Cork's not red. That's weird.
Huh.
My mother-in-law, it's all about who you know. Is what, like, they are not.
I know you. So how do I get it?
So my mother-in-law got connected with the right person, and they know she lives there.
Okay.
They go there often. And we were just talking to him because she was getting signed up, and there was multiple other connections. I was like, so can I get on? He's like, sure. So it's like, it's not
100%, but we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that means that they're going to open up more to get people on, or if it's just like the people that they know go there consistently and all of that they're allowing.
Okay.
But I was pretty excited about
Nice. That is awesome because I want to be a member.
Yeah. So
I haven't been to my cabin, I think since the end of January, something like that. So anyway.
You want to fold this?
I want like a half, please.
I'm gonna split this. I don't need a.
Don't spill it. Yeah, that's good.
Great. Cheers. I was a little lucky enough, but
like it's got a drip on the side.
We're classy here. That's really good.
I don't know how I feel about it. It's a little too tart for me.
It is tart. Yeah, it is tart. It has.
Yeah. Like I'll drink it, but it's tart.
I'll drink it.
Wine is wine.
I feel like that would be very good in a couple of years.
Okay.
As it ages a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
The flavor kind of seems.
It's a little too new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like mature. Mature flavors. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be really good and totally drinkable.
Absolutely.
Not dying over it.
I'm not dying either. Like I'd give it like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I could bump it up to like a 5.
Could you?
Yeah, I'd probably bump it up to a 5, but
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to
know. Anything exciting in your life recently?
I am now halfway to 70 as of last Wednesday.
Right.
35.
When you say it that way.
It's funny. It's funny.
Yes.
I'm a jokester. So anyway, I was at CrossFit on Wednesday, which was my birthday, and they're like, so we have to do birthday burpees?
Oh.
Like, can we not? But it was like it was like a group of 10. So we like each did one burpee in a row.
You really only had to do like
I only
3
had
or 4. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I was like, sorry, guys.
That's doable.
Yeah, but anyway, that's good.
Yeah.
Last week was like my whole birthday week. Which
Good.
I'm still doing stuff for my birthday tomorrow.
Good.
So,
As it should.
you know,
As it should.
there's that meme that's like the queen from The Crown.
Yeah.
It's like my birthday month, and it's like the crown like going on her head. That's my husband said that to me on Saturday. It's like he's like, it feels like your birthday is like a whole week, and I was like,
I feel like a birthday should because you also have like,
well, if it's during the week too,
yeah,
it's not like it's a weekend birthday.
You're gonna do something on your birthday, because I feel like if it is the weekend, it really is only like the couple days. But you do something like on the day,
sure,
and then you meet up with friends or you like whatever. Yeah, I'm all for it.
I'm for it too.
Yeah, my mom and I share a birthday, so we always do like
the same exact day.
Same exact day.
That's amazing.
My 21st was her 50th.
Stop it.
And the same doctor that delivered her delivered me. Pretty sure he retired after I was born. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That's so we always do something on the day, typically like have dinner as a family and then like do something else. But
love it. That's so special.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Love it. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's
get back into real estate stuff.
Transition. We
are starting our selling listing series.
Yep.
That's going to be very heavy. I don't really have much to do. We did the episode probably a month ago now about buying and selling.
Yeah.
That's really where my involvement on that is. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm just going to be asking questions and
we're just going to be focusing on, how to sell your home, like what the process is, like how to prep, offer reviews, like that sort of thing. And then, we're going to chat about like doing refinances because that's something that you do after you and like when own a home. So that's kind of somewhat related to listing.
Yep.
And we'll do like another market update like we did with our buyer series. So yeah, let's dive in. So
cool.
We got my awesome listing guide. Put a lot of work into this last fall and winter, a long time, and I'm super proud of what I came up with. So I've kind of dumbed down my whole listing process to 5 steps. So I think today we're gonna focus on steps 1 and 2. Maybe if we have time, we'll go into step 3, but we'll see. We'll kind of see how this goes. So, first step is going to be the listing consultation. So figuring out whether or not I am the right person for you. So typically, seller reaches out to me. Let's use my Linwood listing as an example. Cool. So right off Larchway, in my neighborhood. So I had been farming my neighborhood. So farming is where like basically I pick 500 houses that feed into my kids' school. And I sent them one piece of mail once a month for about a whole year last year. In October, I got a phone call from my seller who they're closing next week. Yay. So got a phone call from him. Hey, we want to interview you. We keep getting your postcards. Like, do you want to come over to our house? So went over to their house and they were interviewing 2 other brokers as well. So, during that time, I've got my listing materials that I'm bringing to the house. And typically it's not me meeting with a seller over Zoom. I want to be in person with you and talk with you, get to see your home, because obviously like my CMA, me evaluating your home, has a lot to do with how your finish qualities are and just how your house lays out, like that sort of thing. So typically I'm meeting with you in person. So sat down with them. Actually they showed me the house first. So kind of walking through them telling me like, hey, we replaced the furnace in this year, added AC, we did this, we did that, checking out their yard. And I'm also kind of looking for resale issues too, like things that a buyer would be like, I think I'm going to mark this house off my list because this house over here has what I'm wanting a little bit more. So that's something that
that's all kind of what you go into where you think it should be listed at.
Yes. Yeah. So when we would then sit down, I would go over kind of a preliminary CMA. So comparative market analysis. And again, it's a preliminary one because I haven't seen their house yet. Like, and for these folks, they've been in their home 41 years. amazing. So there's no MLS data because MLS, our multiple listing service, didn't really go on the internet until like 2020 or 2001, I think.
Jeez, that's crazy.
So yeah, no listing data. So I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Listings that have been on MLS in the last 20 years, typically there's still pictures up. So I can take a look at that and be like, okay, based on this is where I'm thinking. Yep. But anyway, sit down, kind of go over the CMA with them, and then also kind of talk about like, hey, so for example, the walls, I'm not even kidding you, they were pink, and like brick facade painted on there, which is like, do what you want with your house.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, once you live there, please do what you want. Okay. But when it comes to selling, we want to put our buyer glasses on.
Yes.
How is a buyer going to view this pink brick facade?
And also like how much work are they going to have to put into it because it's not.
Yep. And then, you know, carpet on the floors was very old, like probably, I don't know, 25 years old. Kitchen cabinets were like this peachy pink color. What else? Sink was pink. Bathroom, primary bathroom, green tile, floor to ceiling. So just, there was a lot going on.
A lot going on.
So at that time, I told them, hey, if you sell as is, probably 625 is kind of where I think it would land. And, you know, and I was in line with the other brokers that they interviewed as well. Well, they called me back a day later and they're like, Mariesa, we can't imagine not listing with you. So it's like, yay.
Awesome.
You know, so that's awesome. And I think like the big thing too is like, I live in the neighborhood and I have an invested interest in making sure that our home values go up. Mm-hmm. So I talked with them and I said, hey, I know the pink walls, you have loved them, the peach cabinets, the green bathroom, it served you great, right? But what if we spent X amount of dollars and could bump up your list price? And they said, okay, we'll do it. So from about October up until, let's see, I listed it, I think it was April 8th. It was like the end of March, had a contractor start work. I think it was beginning of February. All new LVP floors throughout the entire home, 1,400 square foot house. Painted the kitchen cabinets white. New stainless steel sink in the kitchen. Primary bathroom got completely remodeled. Turned out stunning, absolutely stunning. They ended up, the pink like facade, brick facade situation, he did think that he was going to like scrape it and then like drywall over it. No, it was too much work. So they actually ended up putting like 1/4-inch sheetrock over top of it.
Okay.
And then, you know, mudding, taping, drywall.
Yeah. That. So just put a new piece of drywall.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it turned out phenomenal. So anyway, that is part of kind of the listing consultation, is me just kind of giving you an idea of like, hey, if we sold as is, here's where I think the pricing could be. If we put a little bit of work in, or like, hey, I really need you, like, let's say the water heater is like right on the cusp of being too old. Like, hey, just for peace of mind, something always happens with a listing where something breaks.
Yep.
And so let's get ahead of that. Let's get a new water heater in for the buyer. And so that's one less worry.
Yep.
So again, step one, listing consultation, you figure out whether or not you want to hire me.
And during that, you also kind of give them a checklist of.
I would say that's more like step 2.
Okay.
Is like the preparing your home. Like that
you get the information you need to
prepare. Yeah. Like I'm giving you, hey, here is me. Here's my team. I'm going to stage your home. I'm going to do professional photography. I'm going to have it deep cleaned, windows cleaned, that sort of thing. Here's how I market your home. And then seller sits down, decides who they feel is the best fit for them.
Yep.
So once you've hired me, we sign that listing agreement, we're going on to step 2, which is preparing your home. So going back to like, okay, what do we need to do to get our buyer glasses on, make sure that your home is going to be marketed to the most people when we put it on the market. So I've got this really awesome step 2, just kind of buckets of like, here's what we're going to do. So 1 is contractor work. So discuss any fixes prior to listing, hire a contractor, get those fixes done. Part of that is I want my stager to come in and also give you feedback on like, hey, we should do this, we should do that. I'm going to have your home professionally cleaned. Typically that's about a week before listing. Move out or pare down. So if it's vacant, obviously you're going to want to hire movers and figure out how to get out of the house. And we have like a target date of like when we do that.
Yep.
If you're staying in the home, so occupied homes, I have each room of the house listed, and this is what I kind of want to see those rooms pared down to. So a lot of that is getting rid of clutter, knickknacks, photos, like family photos. Just kind of want to depersonalize, so that way when my stager comes in, or if I'm going to stage your home, like there's just less stuff on shelves and walls, and it's just kind of a clean palette. The buyer can come and be like, okay, I can envision this being an office or whatever. Then I'm also going to hire, obviously, my photographer, videographer to come in, take pictures. That's usually a day or two before listing.
Okay.
Typically, and I feel like I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but we're also going to most likely do a home inspection. I like to do that within a week or two prior to listing. If anything major comes up, we need to have a conversation about like, hey, do we need to fix this?
Yep.
So for example, my Linwood listing did the home inspection about a week before listing, discovered there's water in the crawl space. And so needed to install a sump pump. So we hired someone to come out and install that. That didn't happen until like a week after our buyer was pending with us.
Yep.
But at least it's scheduled. And that is like one less thing for a buyer to be concerned about.
Yep. And also kind of like surprises on when the buyer gets the inspection.
Yeah. And like, especially like the reason I like to have inspections right now, especially, is just because it gives a lot of transparency and honesty to the buyer. It gives them less hurdles to worry about that. And then it's great information for if we have multiple offers going, for a buyer to be willing to waive inspection.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they are always welcome to do their own inspection.
Yeah.
And please do.
Yeah.
For the record, please do an inspection. A lot of buyers do choose to go off of the seller procured inspection report. Certainly there's risks with that. But it is good information and data for a buyer to decide whether or not they're willing to take on maybe a little bit more of a fixer-upper, or maybe it's an absolutely pristine, well taken care of house. Great. That makes them feel more comfortable to offer more for the property.
Yep.
So that's kind of my mindset on that. Now, like, a year ago, I would have probably been like, you know what, let the buyer do an inspection.
Mm-hmm.
It's just last year compared to like this year, completely different feel.
Just like the activity.
Yeah, activity level. So less buyers out there. They're nervous. They're unsure about things.
Yep.
So let them do their due diligence after getting in contract on your home. So
yeah,
that's kind of what last year was. Now this year, way more buyer activity. So I think it's better to get ahead of that and get rid of those hesitations for buyers.
Yeah,
so they want to offer on your home.
Cool. Of this stuff, and I know, different agents do different things, different levels of this, and what they pay for, what the buyer pays or the seller pays for. Mm-hmm. Go into kind of what you do and what you kind of see in the area of what's typically and how those things can change based on, like, if they're interviewing 3 different brokers for listing, what should they look for? And what should they be aware of? Yeah. So,
want to make it really clear. I'm sure people have, we talked about the NAR settlement, the National Association of Realtors thing. Yep. Commission is negotiable. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not going to broadcast my fees or anything like that. That's something that you and I can discuss. A lot of it depends on, am I going to stage your home with a professional stager, or am I going to use my own inventory? Are we going to do like a drone videography, like a 3D Matterport tour? Like, am I, doing X, Y, and Z? Because, at the end of the day, I do this for a living. I be able to take care of my family. There's a lot of fees that come off of that commission check. So it's not like me getting a $16,000 check at the end of the day. So just want to throw it out there. But what I typically include is professional home staging. If your home is vacant, that typically costs me anywhere between like $3,000 and $5,000. Mm-hmm. It's a big chunk of change. So I'm investing in your home to make it shine, make it just wow worthy to buyers. So I'm putting up my money up front. Like, remember, I don't get paid till closing. So I'm investing in your home to make sure that it looks great. I also have your home deep cleaned. So inside cabinets, just deep cleaning all the things that your, regular house cleaner probably isn't going to get to.
Yep.
I also take care of window cleaning. Window cleaning on the exterior just like really makes it just shiny and pop. Like,
on the exterior.
Yep. Have the exterior windows cleaned. I also take care of photography, videography.
Okay.
So, I mean, all in the Larchway listing, at the end of the day, I probably invested about $5,000.
Yeah.
Into that.
And that's kind of the differences of what you'll see if someone was to go list with a Redfin agent, or, you know, a higher end agent with you. Like they're not that's gonna.
I know that Redfin now has different tiers of listing.
Okay.
So, you know, and each broker is different.
Yeah.
Each brokerage is different.
And that's what they really need to at least talk about. Okay, what's the commission, what's included in that, and where's the difference?
Right. I mean, I know a lot of brokers, they don't pay for staging.
Okay. So that
I feel that it's an investment in your listing for me to stage your home and make it shine.
Yeah.
Let me take care of making your house look incredible.
Yep.
You take care of, you know, paring down your home if you're living in there, or getting your stuff out of the home. I feel it's my role to market your home and make it look incredible.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I view listings.
Yep.
A lot of other brokers don't feel that way, and that's something that you need to discover.
Yeah, I think the client, the sellers need to decide what's important and what they feel like is needed.
Exactly. So, yeah. So kind of like going back to kind of like the tail end of step 2. Typically I get photos back. So for the Larchway listing, I listed it on a Wednesday. So I got photos back by about, I think it was like 10:30 in the morning. So I'm putting the photos into my flyers. I'm making sure the MLS listing is literally perfect. The data matches up. It's everything. There's no errors, that sort of thing. And then I try to push your listing live by around noon on list date. So that's going to broadcast out to the Northwest MLS. And then the Northwest MLS, that data is going to feed to the brokerage sites, Zillow, all of that. So you're instantly on that Northwest MLS. But then the brokerage sites and like Zillow, that can take up to an hour for it to syndicate.
Okay.
So, you know, during that time, we're going to set up what's called showing time. So it's basically an app that us brokers use to track showings. Also kind of like help with, if the listing is super popular, I really, really don't like overlapping showings. I want people to have like a good 30-minute chunk to see the home and not worry about, oh crap, there's another buyer in the house.
Lingering.
Yeah, and you're just like, you feel anxious. You can't like speak your mind openly with your broker. Like, so it's a good way to kind of like control crowds.
Yeah, well. For sure.
And then, so that's kind of the end of step 2. Then so step 3 is listing your home. So kind of backtracking. So when I get photos, then we're launching straight into step 3. So step 3, listing your home. So like I said, it's going to publish to the Northwest MLS. I'm going to get your flyers printed. I'm going to get your feature cards printed. So those little call out cards that you see around a house.
Oh,
yeah. Just like, hey, you know, the furnace was replaced in 2021, or like, great walk score. Like my Greenwood listing right now has a 93 walk score, which is amazing. So you can walk everywhere, groceries, dining, nightlife. There's cycle bar down there, which I really want to go to.
I did one of the boat ones.
Boat ones? What do you mean?
The cycle bar that you like cycle, right? That's what you're.
Gosh, no.
Oh,
no. It's like I think it's called cycle bar, and it's just like it's like a spin studio. Like the rhythm
gotcha. Yes.
Spin classes.
Yes. Okay.
I think on Green Lake they have.
Yes, they have like cycling.
Yeah.
I did one on. I don't want to do one on land. That sounds like a lot of work. If I'm drinking, I don't want to put in that much work.
No, you don't drink there.
Okay, this one
that's really funny.
Yes.
Side note. That's so funny. No,
clearly I know what's in my mind.
So yeah, and then I'm gonna have like the for sale sign installed in your yard. Drop off the print materials. Put on it's called Supra, SUPRA, the Supra key box that only agents can access. And then we just start kind of having showings come into your home. So brokers are going to need showing time to schedule their appointments with their buyers. Typically when I list a home on Wednesday, the bulk of the showings I would say are Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
A little bit on Friday. usually a big open house on Saturday. Sunday's a little quieter. And then typically I'll have like an offer review on like a Monday or a Tuesday.
Okay.
So yeah. So first weekend on the market, I want to do open houses.
And so you tend to list on Wednesday?
I try to.
Okay.
Like I'll do Thursday as well. Thursday is fine too.
Yeah.
You can list anytime between 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
MLS wants you to get your data in by 5 p.m. So I like to get listings on the market, especially on Wednesdays, because that's when the bulk of new listings are going on the market, is Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes Friday.
Yeah.
But I want to get the most eyeballs on your listing, because what if a buyer can't sneak away from work?
Yep.
Now they're like, oh, awesome. This is going to be on my open house list, or I'm going to ping my broker to go see it on a Saturday or whatever. So I just want to get as many eyeballs on your listing as possible so that we maximize feet through your listing. And then, of course, potentially get those people to offer.
Cool.
So open house this Saturday, Sunday, anywhere between like a 2 and 3 hour open house each of those days. Every single night for the first week that you're on the market, I'm going to email you, hey, here's how many showings we had. Here's what the feedback is. I'm following up with every single broker that shows it to find out what their feedback is, because that correlates into whether or not we're going to get an offer. Or maybe we need to think about a price improvement in a couple of weeks because we keep getting negative feedback because buyers just don't love X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm.
So that feedback is really, really important, and something that I think a lot of listing brokers don't do is collect that for their sellers. So yeah, if you are, one little side note, if you are owner occupied, meaning you're living there while the house is on the market, typically I want to give like an hour notice to brokers to book tours to go see your home. But, what I want you to do is respond to showing requests promptly, within 30 minutes, I would say, try to get back to them. Give yourself enough time to do a quick tidy up before showings. So like run your vacuum in like the high traffic areas, throw the dishes in the dishwasher. People really don't care what's behind closed doors, or like drawers. They're really not going to be going through stuff like that. But just try to get it back to kind of picture ready kind of status. Yeah. Always lock up your valuables. That's a big one. And then, like I say here, when in doubt, throw it in the closet or garage.
So get it out of sight. I mean, yeah, there's so much that that goes into it, or that goes into the first impression. Mm-hmm. That if you walk in and it looks good, it kind of helps if you do go into the garage and it's messy.
Yeah, I mean, people get everything. Yeah, people get it. Just try to make it. I would say try to make a path to the furnace and the water heater. Furnace and water heaters are often in the garage. Make it so that people can go and check the label and see like how old your furnace is, how old your water heater is.
That makes sense.
That sort of thing. Make sure there's a path to the electrical panel, like in your garage too.
So which there should be anyway.
There should be anyway, but especially when you're moving and you've got a lot of stuff in your garage, just like be mindful of that, I would say.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Let's go into step 4. So step 4 is going to be reviewing offers and that in escrow period. So if we set an offer review date, so going back to Linwood, I had the offer review on Monday. I asked for offers to be in by 12 p.m. We had we had one person kind of wait until like 12:45, and I needed like some housekeeping. There was just like a little bit of messy terms, like that sort of thing that I wanted the broker to kind of tidy up.
Okay.
So I sat down with my sellers at 1 p.m. Super sweet couple. They wanted to do everything in person, which I'm happy to do.
Yeah.
So printed out the offers and went through the whole terms of the purchase and sale agreement, kind of compared. We had 2 offers on that one. Larchway is a very busy road, so I wasn't surprised that we didn't have like a bunch of offers. But we looked at those offers and went pending at 785, which is amazing. We listed for 750.
Okay.
So going from potentially listing at 625 last October to 785, that's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And I think my sellers invested about $75,000.
So definitely paid off.
That's a huge return on investment, which is awesome. So we're going to look at those offers. I'm going to advise you and just, I do kind of like a hands-off approach with offer reviews, because ultimately it's the seller's choice, which offer they're going to go with. I certainly have feedback on which offer I feel is stronger and less risk to the seller, but ultimately it's up to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we will look through that, and then seller is going to decide which offer they're going to go with. Maybe we need to tweak things with like a counter. Maybe there's a couple terms we want to tweak or something like that. But typically we're signed around and pending within an hour or two after the offer review, which is awesome. And that point in which we go pending is called mutual acceptance. That kicks off the entire closing timeline. And a lot of like the in escrow stuff on the seller side is us waiting for buyers to clear their contingencies. So I think circle back to our buyer series, because that's going to really detail through the inspection contingency, the finance contingency, all of that. So basically mutual acceptance is going to start the timeline ticking for the buyer. And then we've got our close date, which, you know, I've had anywhere between like a 2 and 4 week close.
Yeah.
Recently.
Is there anything, I mean, we went during our buyer series, we went through a whole appraisal one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we fully talked about like, we talked about seller's reaction, but is there anything, and maybe there's not, is there anything during that appraisal contingency that the seller should be aware of? Maybe with the appraiser going out there or anything like that? Is there anything that you want to say on that?
I mean, so appraiser is typically going to reach out to the listing broker. Sometimes they'll reach out to the buyer broker. If it's vacant, I mean, typically they'll like request in showing time, like, hey, just FYI, I'm going to go out on Thursday, and it's like Monday. So I can be like, hey, seller, appraiser is going out on this day at this time. The large way listing, what I loved is that the buyer broker was super proactive, and she actually went and met the broker and had like a CMA ready to go. We had no problems with appraisal. So that was awesome.
Yep.
If you're owner occupied, you know, do allow the appraiser to come to your home. I feel it's best be hands off with them. You know, don't interact with them.
Yep.
Because we do want it to be like a third party, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to connect with them and send them my CMA. I'm going to, you know, hey, here's the offers that we got, just to substantiate that like fair market value is the purchase price for that property. So really there's not much, like I haven't had an issue on the listing side with appraisals.
Yeah.
So
cool. And so
maybe that day will come. I don't know.
Yeah. And essentially it's just like, if it is occupied still, just kind of do the same thing that you would do for a standard showing. Yeah.
Just, tidy up, vacuum high traffic areas, you know, get it as close to picture ready as you can. They really can look past a lot of stuff.
It still baffles me, some of the appraisal pictures that come through.
Oh yeah, you see the appraisal report a lot.
And how bad some of the houses. Well, more so like how people leave their houses.
Oh.
Maybe not always for purchases, but really on refinance of them.
Well, I remember when I was a funder, I would have to go through the appraisal report and check for certain things. And I remember on these refinances, I was like, oh my goodness, people live like this?
Yeah.
I mean, you do you, but
you do you, but yeah, sometimes it's shocking.
Yeah.
So all the contingencies are cleared. Yep. You get final approval. Yep. We get docs out.
Yep.
The sellers do need to sign some final documents along with the buyers.
That's step 5, closing.
Yep.
So once buyer has final approval, or if they're a cash buyer, you know, escrow's like, hey, we got docs ready. Escrow will reach out to the seller, say, hey, we're ready to sign you. Escrow is really great about being flexible, and they can send a notary out to your house or to a coffee shop, or you can meet them at their the escrow offices. So they're really great with that. And you'll sign, I mean, it's probably like maybe 30 minutes. This is the seller documents, and then this is like the buyer documents. So it's pretty quick. I had my seller ask me, like, are you going to be there? I'm like, no, I want it to be flexible for you and like your time. So I typically don't go to the signings.
Yeah.
Plus I can't really give feedback on all the numbers and whatnot. Like the escrow closer is there to run through like, hey, I had to collect this for utilities. Like, here's your payoff for your mortgage, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, so it is not officially the buyer's home until recording numbers are in. So escrow on the day of closing will take the signed documents from buyer, seller, you know this, deliver that to the county. The county then records it. Once the county sends escrow back the recording numbers, which is basically the receipt, that is the point when the ownership transfers. Now, if you're owner occupied, you do have till 9 p.m. to vacate. But if you're completely out, great. That's the point when I can give keys to the buyer broker. So, and then typically, which is the best part of selling, typically the next day you're going to get your net proceeds in your bank account wired. So that is the listing process, steps 1 through 5, in about 36 minutes.
I love it.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of it is just, a lot of the listing piece, I feel, is the preparation. That is the biggest part. I mean, my Larchway seller, I've been working with them since October.
Yeah.
And it's now the end of April.
Yep.
So lots of just me checking in, giving you an updated CMA once a month, like, hey, here's where the market's going. Here's where I think pricing should be. So a lot of it is me keeping my pulse on what's happening in your neighborhood.
Yeah. And I think it's also like, if you're thinking about selling and doing something else, or like selling and buying, or either locally, or it's good to get an idea of what's needing to be done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's very rare that you can be like, okay, let's list tomorrow. Like,
yeah, there almost is always something that I would love for you to fix. Now, if you financially can afford it, actually at my brokerage, we do have a really awesome program that can get you some cash for making fixes.
Cool.
So just a little plug on that. But a lot of times, sellers they've got savings that they can invest into their home. A lot of times you are going to get that ROI, that return on investment for doing those upgrades. But I've had some sellers, I'm like, you don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just like, especially that inspection report right now, with it being a very seller friendly market, it does do a lot of good for you to get your house as buttoned up as possible. So just paying attention to the inspection report, and then also presentation. And the presentation is something that I feel like I pride myself in, and I'm really good at going room to room and saying, hey, do this, do this, do this.
Yeah. So bare minimum, it's even just the preparation of like, remove this, add this, clean that, rearrange that. And so it kind of just gives sellers that are even thinking about like, do I want to sell? Do I want to move? Kind of that peace of mind of what it would take to get on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of preparation, lots of like me hand holding, kind of going like, hey, here's where we're at this month for comps. This is where I'm thinking your listing would land currently. Here's my suggestions. Updating on like time frame, like here's our calendar for listing month, and just kind of keeping you on track with getting your home ready. So
cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Well, cheers to listing homes.
Cheers.